Oh my God, Curtis. When I read, so for our listeners, if you haven't read the articles, please go to Krebs on Security. And if anything else, just read part two of
Yeah,
his blog post called Part Two The Office, where he
yeah.
breaks down the structure of Conti. And yeah, like Curtis said, they had an HR department, which is bonkers.
And they're saying that they have departments. Each department has their own distinct budgets, schedules, and leadership, just like a regular company. And they mentioned that they gave some examples of departments. So they had coders, testers, administrators, reverse engineers, and pen testers, hackers. Coders, they're the ones writing the bad stuff. And then
Hmm.
testers, not only are they testing that the code does its job, but they also test it against the security tools that are going to try to stop them. So the code is not designed just to do its job, but to do its job undetected, which is I guess I should have guessed that, but
Yeah. And I think further in the article, it talks about how they're updating like every 6 hours their build because antivirus definitions get updated, ransomware
mhm,
detection, all the rest of that. They figured out like what the schedule is out there for Microsoft pushing Defender patches. And they're like, oh, every 6 hours we need to be up to date and making sure that we're undetectable for any new changes. So it's
yeah,
almost like a
and then
24/7
yeah,
organization, if you will.
and then they've got an IT department, right? They got
Hmm.
administrators setting up, tearing down servers, other attack infrastructure. Then reverse engineers. This was an interesting one. People that can disassemble computer code, study it, find vulnerability. So these are the ones looking for those 0-day vulnerabilities,
Yep.
especially ones before they report it or whatever. If they can find a vulnerability before the rest of the world does, then they have a real end.
Yep. And then
And then of
finally, pen
course,
testers. They're kind of the people who are actually out there doing the job against corporate networks, trying to plant the ransomware. It's interesting because normally when you think about pen testers, you think
mhm,
about it working in a company to test the company's code to make sure there are no
right,
vulnerabilities. These penetration
right,
testers are really hackers trying to break into other people's networks.
right. And it's interesting. They are organized crime, and they have a specific team. And they actually listed. They felt what did he said somewhere in here? He mentioned 65 or something was the number that's on the top of my head somewhere that they had
62 people.
62 people. There we go. Yeah, 62 people, mostly low-level malware coders and software testers. But that is just a little bit crazy that they're that sophisticated.
Yep.
And what's the point of us discussing this? It's because you really need to take these people seriously.
Oh, yeah. They are running it like a business, right? They're not ill prepared people who just got lucky and figured out how to bring things together. They are very well organized. They have systems in place. They are running this like a business, which is what we talked about before. We're like, yeah, these are businesses, but now you're actually seeing how they're run, and it's scary.